Hi everybody, my name is Miss Manzo and I'm one of the science teachers at Cooke Academy. You're here in my kitchen because I'm going to show you how to make an easy sourdough starter that I'm sure you've seen all over the internet right now. So what is sourdough starter? It's using wild yeast that is in the air all around us rather than commercial yeast, which is why it tastes different depending on the room it's made in, the state it's made in, or even the country. So the things that you're going to start with is a whole wheat flour, and as you continue to grow your starter, you're going to add all-purpose flour. They say that it tastes best using half whole wheat, half all-purpose. I'm going to use filtered water today for my starter, but you could also use tap as long as it actually tastes good and doesn't have a lot of chemicals. And I'm going to use measuring cups. If you do have a kitchen scale, I'll tell you those measurements as well, but I'm going to be creating it by volume rather than by grams. So I'm going to take half a cup of my whole wheat flour, kind of level it off here. And if you were using a kitchen scale, you would measure 60 grams of whole wheat flour. Just make sure when you place it on the scale that you set it to 0, whatever container you're using, so that it's only measuring the water and flour. And then I'm going to take 1/4 cup of my filtered water. And that, if you were using a kitchen scale, is also 60 grams. So it's 60 grams whole wheat flour, 60 grams water. So I added my whole wheat flour and my filtered water into a plastic mixing bowl, and I'm just gonna mix with a fork until it's thick and pasty like this. If it's too thick, you could add a little bit more water. So now I'm just using a rubber spatula, and I'm gonna scrape my starter into my glass jar. You could use glass, you could use a plastic Tupperware or stoneware. Do not use metal. It adds the chemicals into the starter, so I prefer glass. We're just gonna scoop it in. I'm using a tall glass with a lid because the starter will rise eventually, and I'm gonna show you how to continue to feed it. So we wanna have more room for air. Now I'm gonna cover it with some plastic wrap. You could use a cheesecloth or any other type of cloth with holes and a rubber band to kind of seal the air in. You could also use the lid, but I'm gonna use some plastic wrap, and you're gonna store it in a warm place in your kitchen between 75 to 80 degrees, which they say is the top of the refrigerator. So there you have it, your sourdough starter. You're gonna keep it in a warm spot for the next 2 days. Tomorrow, on day 2, you should check, see if it's starting to bubble. That means it's starting to ferment. If you don't see bubbles, it might have happened while you were sleeping. So that's why it's best to just keep it as is for the next 2 days. If you see a dark liquid start to settle on the top of that, that's actually called hooch. And you're gonna pour it out down your sink. Some people say you can mix it in, but it does make it more vinegary. And that means just that your starter is actually hungry, and that's why we're gonna start feeding it on day 3. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.